Alright guys, and welcome back to the channel, and today we are continuing our series where we are trying to beat the game as Soldier of Godrick. Now, in the last episode, we got a lot of stuff done with first defeating Rykard, and we were trying to use the Soldier of Godrick weapons, but we weren't able to and had to use the Serpent Hunter. And then we defeated the worst boss in the game, Godskin Duo, with the Partisan, which drops from a Soldier of Godrick outside in Limgrave. But in today's video, we're going to be defeating Maliketh, and to be honest, I was a little bit scared going into this boss fight because I really haven't done this boss fight very often. Only 2 times, and both times I struggled tremendously. But using the Lordsworn's Greatsword and the Royal Knight's Resolve Ash of War, it does help a lot with this boss fight because being able to break his posture in the first phase makes it so much easier. And I swear using Royal Knight's Resolve, it makes you do a lot more posture damage. So it just makes it seem like the fight goes easier, and especially using charge attacks when he does his big swooping attack. However, I never could really find times to do charge attacks other than this move right here. I didn't have it figured out then that that's when I could actually use charge attacks, but once I get that figured out, it makes his first phase so much easier if you don't get hit by his quick slashes like what he just did right there. If you get hit by the first of those quick slashes and by dodging too late, you immediately will get hit by the other slash because it takes so long to do. But I do struggle for a while on Maliketh. Not his first phase in particular, but his second phase. I have such a hard time with his second phase because I could not figure out timings for when to hit him. And I also struggled with dodging that move right there. That move in particular killed me so many times. But again, this first phase really isn't too hard unless you get hit by his quick slashes and his quick rock throw that he just did right there. The quick rock throw is by far the most annoying thing because I could not figure out when to dodge it or when he was going to even do it. Now, his big long move is when I finally figured out when I could actually get off a charge attack and not get hit. That was the big thing, was I just thought that the first phase of Maliketh was with trading blows and trying to break his posture. But once I figured out that I could do charge attacks in those moments, it was a lot easier to get Maliketh to his second phase and then just die over and over again to his second phase. But it took me way too long to figure out how to actually defeat his second phase. I just had such a hard time with dodging his in the air slash attacks, his multiple attack move where this right here, I could never figure out how to even dodge that at all. I was constantly like over positioning and going for greedy shots just to try and break his posture because I knew if I could break his posture, it would make this fight 10 times easier. Now, I do think this was the closest that I got to defeating Maliketh besides when I actually defeated him. But I struggled for quite a while on Maliketh to the point where it was a little bit embarrassing because I thought that I was figuring out his moveset and then I would just die and die and die and die, and it was a whole annoying deal. I finally figured out that I really just needed to get to Maliketh's second phase with like 6 flasks just so I could maybe get a chance at breaking his posture, which ended up taking a long time, and I didn't even get to his second phase with 6 flasks when I beat him, which was genuinely crazy to me. But the thing I struggled with the most in this fight was his quick rock throw. I feel like I had such a hard time with that move, and at this point it really felt like Maliketh was really defeating me mentally, and he was killing me a lot of times, as you can see. I was really struggling with this boss fight, and I was trying to do the strategy of getting good and just learning his moveset, but I genuinely just could not figure out when he was doing his quick rock throw or when I was able to attack and when not to, because I swear sometimes he changes up when he does his attacks, like right there. Sometimes he follows that up with the move of doing his quick slashes. Now, it doesn't help that I heal right in front of his face all the time, but he ends up killing me a lot more. But then I remember something. I'm the soldier of freaking Godrick. I am the best character in Elden Ring, and I'm about to demolish Maliketh. We got our final charged attack in there, and we defeated Maliketh the Black Blade. But now it's time to go and defeat our next boss that we were wanting to do in this series, which is Placidusax. I looked up a YouTube video on how to get to this area, because who in the world figured out how to even get down to this area? It's the most secret place in this game, I swear. Who would have thought to run all the way to the edge of this area and jump down to this little rock ledge and run all the way down and then lay down in a random spot? And that's how you fight the ancient Dragonlord? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. Who thought that was a good idea? Why in the world would you have to do that? Who figured that out? But this is by far the coolest boss fight of all time in gaming history. I love this boss. This is definitely my favorite boss in Elden Ring so far. It has such cool design, such cool visual effects, and just a cool moveset in general. All the lightning, all the clouds, the sound effects that he makes, it's just all perfect, and I loved it. The only thing that I did not really enjoy was his lightning attacks that he would do and his flame breath, because I couldn't really figure out how to dodge his flame breath. I did find out how to dodge his lightning attacks, but his flame breath is what I would constantly get hit by. I did think it was pretty easy to stagger Placidusax. Maybe if he had like a little bit more like stagger resistance, that'd be better. But also, he had a pretty healthy amount of health. So I could see why making his stagger like pretty low makes this boss fight a lot better, because if it was a lot higher, I could see how this boss fight would be pretty much impossibly hard. Now this attack is so freaking cool. It's like a nuke of lightning attacks. That was by far my favorite attack that he did. But his second phase is where things got a little bit different, because I could not figure out for the life of me the camera for the second phase. I didn't know whether to keep it on him or keep it off of him. I did eventually figure out that you need to have it locked in on him once he spawns in the second phase, because it points you in the direction of where he's going to spawn in next. Now, fighting Placidusax was probably the most fun I've had playing Elden Ring, because it felt like a fair fight. The Godskin duo fight and fights like that are so unbelievably unfair fill me with such rage for this game. But fights like this that are completely fair make me love this game so much. Now that attack right there is also super duper cool. I love that. I never got hit by it. I've seen a bunch of videos of people fighting Placidusax and they always get hit by that move right there. I don't know if it's hard to dodge or not. I didn't think it was that hard to dodge, but some people get hit by it. I feel like by far the best strategy for fighting Placidusax is to just aim for the tail. He doesn't attack that often to his tail. The only thing you really have to worry about is his flame attack and his lightning attacks. But now it's time for the Soldier of Godrick to teach Placidusax a lesson. You see, the Soldier of Godrick is the Lord's soldier. He is the peak of human evolution. He is quite literally the strongest being in Elden Ring history. And he will go down as the Dragon Slayer Soldier of Godrick. This is by far the coolest fight in Elden Ring. And it's time for the Soldier of Godrick to wake up and destroy Placidusax. He has lived for far too long, and it's time for his reign to end. We get our final swing in there and destroy Dragonlord Placidusax and get his remembrance. That is now 2 remembrance bosses down in this episode, and those were the 2 that I really wanted to get. We then level up our vigor all the way to 50 and head to Liendel. We are now going to defeat the stupidest boss, in my opinion. I didn't really understand why we needed to fight Gideon, but Gideon is by far the stupidest person in Elden Ring. He is challenging the person that just defeated Maliketh, the holder of death, and then the Dragonlord Placidusax, and you're like, man, I'm gonna challenge this dude to a 1v1 because he's trash. Like, who in the right mind would even do that? Now, I, for one, don't think the Gideon fight is very hard. I did watch FaZe Jev's playthrough where he did it as at level 1, so I could see how the Gideon fight would be pretty difficult at level 1 because he debuffs you and then hits you with like every attack that you've ever seen in this playthrough. But if you're not level 1, this fight is not difficult at all. You could just pretty much stagger him out of whatever animation he's doing at that moment and keep him from casting any spells. It's really not that bad of a boss fight, especially if he doesn't cast his Common Azure very much. But if you can just stagger him out of all of his animations, it's pretty much the easiest boss fight of all time. But after that, we're going to go ahead and level up our strength all the way to 58. And then I just want to thank you guys so much for all the love and support for on the past videos. In the next episode, we're going to try to defeat Fortisax and possibly go to the Halley Tree. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.